It's been said that true stories are the best stories. Still, it's hard to imagine that a scene from your own life might have the makings of a movie. Screenwriter Audrey Shulman really didn't know it would happen to her until it did. The name Shulman might ring a bell. Audrey's the daughter of our one-time vice mayor, Jim Shulman, and she's got a well-known aunt as well.
My mom and dad had a little book that they kept of funny things that I said, and when I was little, apparently I would say to no one, "Hit it, boys," and then do a really big performance for no one. But I think as I got older, I just became a little more shy, a little more withdrawn, and perhaps writing became my way to perform. So I loved going to plays at school. I loved that my friends were involved in plays as I got older, but then it became more about writing parts for them.
After years in Hollywood, Audrey is now back home in Nashville, raising a family and still writing for the big and small screens. Rom-coms are a specialty, but so are her delicious homemade cakes. In fact, it was baking that led to her breakthrough and a chance to work with Bette Midler. I'm pretty certain I've got you hooked now, at least for the next 30 minutes. I'm Demetria Kalodimos. It's Banner & Company. Audrey, I'm so glad to meet you finally.
I am so excited to meet you in person for the first time because I feel like we know each other. We have never actually met. I'm very honored to be with you today.
Well, your dad is a good friend of mine. And, you know, I must ask, growing up here with a father who was an elected official, I'm thinking you had to be pretty careful when it came to your youthful rebellion.
I'm laughing because I feel like I babysat for everyone in Nashville. I was like the Girl Scout of Nashville, Tennessee. Rebellion is not in my genetics, DNA at all. But my parents both set a very wonderful example for me of public service and being involved here in Nashville. So it was really fun to have a dad in office and just get to see more of Nashville than I think I would have otherwise.
Babysitting was my first job, too, and I have to admit publicly I hated it.
You did.
Did you like it?
I bet you were a really good babysitter, Demetria. I bet you were like, entertaining and interested in people's stories.
This is how dorky I was. I put out typewritten index cards in the mailboxes saying babysitter is available.
I should have done that. I wish I had done
Marketing.
that. I probably would have had more business.
It's the key.
Marketing.
Did you babysit anyone that was a notable Nashvilleian?
Oh my gosh, did I babysit any notable Nashvillians? It's possible I babysat for someone who's a up-and-coming country music star, and I'm not hip enough for them to be on my radar. I did babysit 3 boys who I'm still very close to, who are dear friends of mine, and all of them are getting married now and 6 feet tall. But that's how it feels to come back to Nashville, I guess.
No kidding. How young were you when you thought, I want to write? And was it, I want to write a movie or a play, or was it just, I want to write?
I think I always wanted to be a writer. I loved to write all of my letters. I wrote backwards for a long time, and I was always writing stories and telling stories and singing made-up songs. My mom, I think, still laments that I did not become a songwriter or country music singer. I don't have the voice for it or the talent, but I think I just always really liked telling stories and writing, just writing on notepads, writing. And I don't think I really knew that it could be a career until maybe I was in high school.
Yeah, but there was an attempt to go to screenwriter camp.
Yes. When I was in middle school, my mom was great in that she knew I loved to write and signed me up for screenwriting camp at Watkins. And of course, Watkins is no longer with us, but I was always the only child who signed up. And so there were never enough kids to actually have the camp. So sadly, my first screenwriting experience could not happen until college.
Was there also a bit of an actress in you?
Gosh, I think a very untalented, self-conscious performer was in there, especially when I was really little. My mom and dad had a little book that they kept of funny things that I said. And when I was little, apparently I would say to no one, "Hit it, boys," and then do a really big performance for no one. But I think as I got older, I just became a little more shy, a little more withdrawn, and perhaps writing became my way to perform. So I loved going to plays at school. I loved that my friends were involved in plays as I got older, but then it became more about writing parts for them.
You went to Bennington College, and I did a little research. You sort of create your own curriculum there, don't you?
Yes.
And why is that? Why you chose that place?
It's a very unusual college. I went to Hume Fogg here in Nashville, which I loved. I had an incredible experience there. And the curriculum, it may have changed. It's been 20 years, 21 years. But the curriculum is pretty, I would say, bare bones. You cannot take anything that is maybe wildly different from the next student. So I was really enamored with New England and thought I might like to go to school up there. And I found this college that had no required classes. At the time, I think I was doing poorly in AP Economics at Hume Fogg, which I was required to take. And so I thought, wow, you don't have any required classes and you build your own curriculum based on what you are interested in. That must make all of the classes, people are so excited to be there. It must be so engaging. And the school was just very small. So everyone was involved in everything. If you were in a play, your roommate was doing the costumes or helping with paper mache for the programs. Everyone was involved in everything. So it seemed like a great place to go to school and that it was very creative.
What was your major? I mean, how you graduated, obviously, and was it a writing intensive 4 years?
You know, everyone at Bennington College graduates with the same degree. We all have a bachelor's in liberal arts, but we call them concentrations at Bennington because we have to be different. It's really the same as a major, but my concentration was in film and literature. So lots of film classes, lots of literature classes, occasionally something like a drama class or a lighting class or a music class, but that's what I studied there.
And you made a great friendship there.
I did. I made a great friendship there. While I was there, I worked in the admissions office giving tours, perhaps the babysitter in me, perhaps the secret theatrical person in me. And my freshman year when I was giving tours, I met someone who had just started in the admissions office. So she was a freshman in a way. She was fresh out of grad school, and it was her first year at Bennington as well. And I was just in the admissions office quite a lot, and we became very close friends. And after college, when I moved to LA, she eventually moved to LA as well.
So this friendship with Chrissy, right? Yeah. It really became the basis for what would be your breakthrough writing accomplishment. Tell us the story.
Yes. So my friend Chrissy, who was an admissions counselor at our college in Vermont, moved to LA, and we were just living our LA life where I was trying to be a writer and working crazy assistant jobs, and she was still working for our college remotely, incredibly, many years ago when people weren't really working remotely yet. And Chrissy was just incredibly supportive of my writing. She knew I wanted to be a screenwriter. She was always bringing me home books from the library about Dick Van Dyke and Judy Garland and, encouraging me to apply for things or put out my work in ways to just have more exposure. So in 2013, I baked a cake for her birthday. And we were at a bar, which was unusual for us, but she wanted to use the bar's photo booth. She loved photo booths. And I had brought a cake along, and we only ate so much of the cake with our friends before I noticed that all of the guys in the bar were looking at my cake and looking at me and looking at my cake and looking at me. And I could tell that they wanted some, but maybe weren't going to come over and ask for any on their own. So it became this great icebreaker, giving cake to boys in bars. And when we left the bar, Chrissy said, "Audrey, this is your next writing project. You are going to bake cakes and take them to bars and write about it." So this was when everyone had a blog. not a podcast. So I decided to do this for a year. I baked 50 cakes and took them to 50 bars. And it's how I got a book deal. And it's what eventually turned into a movie that Amazon made and came out in 2023.
And it spawned an actual verb, right? Cake barring?
It spawned an actual verb. I think I have to give my dad credit for that one. It's cake barring. The act of baking a cake, taking it to a bar as a way to meet people.
I'm Demetria Kalodimos. It's Banner & Company. And we'll be right back.
Chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more, can make me feel like a spectator in my own life.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It's the #1 prescribed branded chronic migraine preventive treatment.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
What was the first cake? That one that broke the ice?
Great question. It was an upside-down apple spice cake. I don't know if it was that big of a hit, but when you're at a bar at 11 o'clock, guys are so happy to eat anything.
So this was a genius idea on Chrissy's part.
She had excellent ideas. She really could have been a manager or some kind of creative encourager professionally, but it was a great idea.
The movie's been out the book was out first, and the movie's been out for a while, so I don't think I'm spoiling anything, but this true life story took a tragic turn, a very intense turn.
Yes, the huge surprise of this, taking cakes to bars experiment journey was that in the middle of that year, my friend Chrissy had a seizure and was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And so a lot of our time taking cakes to bars was interrupted by doctor's appointments and chemo plans and treatment. And of course, the whole time we were just kind of buoyed along by all of these cakes. We were quite young at the time, and I was just convinced that she would get better. And unfortunately, her cancer progressed, and she passed away. I know that she would be so pleased with the movie. The movie is about two girls who take cakes to bars, but it's also about one of them being diagnosed with brain cancer and the juggling of these two huge, huge life events.
I remember when your dad had a premiere for you here. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it that night, but I watched the movie as soon as I could, and I was gobsmacked to see Bette Midler. How did you pull that off?
Oh gosh, I wish I could take credit for that. I am such a huge Bette Midler fan. The producers reached out to her really hopeful that she would agree to the part, and I just almost fell over when she agreed to do the movie. The producers always hoped that people might see a similarity between Beaches and my own movie, This Tale of Friendship and Loss. I was very touched that Bette Midler agreed to do the movie and very honored. I got to meet her on set. I was a nervous wreck. I had not showered that day. I think I had baby spit up in my hair because my son had just been born. And she couldn't have been nicer.
Yeah. Did you already had a few things on your IMDb at that point in time? A kid series. Was that a cartoon kid series?
I worked on many children's TV series. Yes. One was a cartoon, one was live action for Disney. And then finally, I was able to start writing Hallmark movies. So I also have some Hallmark movies that I've written in addition to my favorite, my Amazon movie, Sitting in Bars with Cake.
Let's talk Hallmark movies. They are many people's guilty pleasure. They will not admit to watching them, or binging them, I guess. And they can be a bit formulaic, but what love story isn't? It's boy meets girl meets girl, boy meets boy, and then something happens, and then they come back together.
I have been really delighted by how many people love Hallmark movies who are the last people I would expect to ever watch them. College students, middle-aged men, people that have really cool tattoos and face piercings who are way cooler than I am. I think there's just something comforting in the predictability, but I have been impressed. I think Hallmark is doing a great job kind of modernizing their movies where they feel familiar, but they're really expanding the cast, the storylines, making them feel perhaps more grounded. So I understand the appeal, and I also understand that people maybe feel a little guilty about watching so many of them.
I read something actually today that one is being slammed. It's a mahjong movie, and not enough Asian Americans are in the mahjong movie.
I've got to watch the mahjong movie, Demetria. I have not seen it yet, and I just played mahjong last night, so now I know.
Okay, mahjong is having a big moment because when I grew up in Chicago, the lady across the street had a Maj group, and I never understood the game, but I've got a friend who's now learning.
Demetria, if you would like to come ever and play with my new mahjong group, we would be honored to have you.
I would
just
love to.
Started learning. We're not very good yet, but we also would like to watch the Hallmark mahjong movie and see what we think.
Are the Hallmark people, I don't want to, beat this to death, but do they have a lot of control over your script? Does it have to end a certain way?
To be honest, I haven't written a Hallmark movie in a few years, and their mandates may have changed. I would say they definitely have a lot of guidance in how their notes are. They give a lot. There are a lot of notes to keep the brand feeling like Hallmark, which I understand. But I think there is always that desire to make something feel new and feel interesting and fresh while keeping to the brand. So
is that hard? I mean, everyone hates to be edited and then strongly edited. I mean, has anyone ever said, change the ending? It's terrible.
For my Hallmark movies, I think I've been lucky in that I have always had good executives that are good collaborators. And I don't think I've ever been given a note that hugely surprised me, except for I think I had a line like, have a good night with your husband, which was perhaps construed as something maybe more racier than I meant it to be. So that line I was asked to change, but that's okay. Minor note.
Now, you are not the only Shulman who we see on the IMDb registry. Your dad, I know, would love to be listed as, lead actor in a dramatic role.
What might still be.
But your aunt, right? Constance Shulman?
Yes, my Aunt Connie, for people who are my age, Doug was a beloved cartoon when I was growing up, and she played the voice of Patty Mayonnaise. She then took a break for a while to have her kids, and then her first acting job for many years was playing Yoga Jones in Orange is the New Black. She pops up here and there when I'm watching something. I'm delighted to see her. Her husband's also an actor, but her daughter, whose name is Gus Burney, I guess she's not a Shulman, also is an actress as well. So it's funny, being from Tennessee, we have some Shulmans in the entertainment industry.
Yeah. Has she ever weighed in on some of your script ideas, or do you run anything past her, being a seasoned actress?
She always teases me. I made a fake documentary when I was in high school about aqua jogging, and she always just wants me to talk about that, which is probably my most low budget, poor quality work that's no one needs to see ever again.
What was it called?
It was called Aqua Jogger, and it was filmed in my parents' backyard. I think our budget was like $50.
Hey, but you put it together.
But we made it. Maybe we could have an anniversary party for it or a reviewing, because John Early, my childhood friend who is now a huge person in the world, is in it. So perhaps I do have my hands on something valuable. I need to maybe revisit that.
Do you prefer writing alone or co-writing? I saw your name with a couple of other people, maybe on one film.
Sure. I prefer writing alone and in complete silence, which is difficult when you have a child who's pretty young and just are a normal person in the world. So I usually work at home by myself, and I think it's just I admire people who can work in teams. For my Hallmark movies, I think I have occasionally had to collaborate, or one person does one piece and I come in and do a second piece, but I do prefer to work alone.
And where is the spot? Have you got a little designated room, or do you go off campus?
I have a little office in my house, and if I need to get out of my house and have some space away from my dishes and my laundry waiting for me, I have a membership to the Switchyards, which is a great workspace here in Nashville. This is a free promo for them. I was not asked to do a promo for them, but it's a great space, and they have free coffee and free tea, and they're very nice people.
Now, how many pots are on the stove? What are you stirring right now?
Can I steal that from you? Pots on the stove? Okay, I'm going to steal that from you, Demetria. I love that phrase. Right now I'm working on a few pitches. I'm working on a feature pitch, a movie pitch with a producer and director who worked on my cake movie. I'm working on a pitch for Hallmark. I'll just say that it is about oysters. I hope that they are interested. And then I'm working on a superhero movie just for myself, just to see if I can pull it off. I've never written a big family theatrical movie before, so that's what I'm working on my own.
Now, when you say pitch, how fleshed out does something like that have to be? I mean, are you dumping a full, complete script on someone's desk and saying, read this? That
is a great question. If I was a really big deal, I could probably get away with just a quick, one-page summary. For me, it's helpful to outline pretty much the entire story and how it would work, because I think that gives the person listening to the pitch more confidence. She has thought this entire movie out. She knows how it's going to begin. She knows what happens in every scene, and she knows how it will end. She knows what the themes are. She knows who the characters are. So I feel like at this point in the industry, when people are cautious about what they're buying, it is important to be as thorough as possible and prepared as possible in the pitch that you're presenting.
And I love when they describe the lead characters. She is a blah, blah, blah. And, yourself being a lead character in the cake movie, do you remember how you wrote your description of yourself?
I think it was, probably nervous, skittish, shy, wallflower. I think that's how I describe the version of myself in my Amazon movie.
And that was the first big movie under the Amazon brand, right?
It was I believe it was the first Amazon MGM movie that was released, which was exciting.
It's Banner & Company, and my guest is screenwriter Audrey Shulman. We'll be right back. Okay, so having a success like that, obviously, you don't churn them out like potato chips or Doritos will make more. I mean, how patient are they to see something else from Audrey?
The movie came out during the writer's strike, which was a little complicated because I could not do any promotional activity for the movie. But I was very lucky in that when the movie ended, an Amazon executive asked me to write another movie. So that was a great opportunity. Unfortunately, that movie is not continuing, but it was a wonderful experience. And I think that these just happen to screenwriters. Our industry is such that maybe it's not the moment for your movie, even if it's a great script, even if it's a great story. But I am hoping that I will find another way to work with my wonderful executives at Amazon again.
Do you have a dream list of performers that you would love to see?
Yes.
Read your lines.
Oh my gosh, yes. I've always loved Molly Shannon. I'm a big fan of Bill Hader. I guess you could just talk about all these Saturday Night Live people. But I just had a dream cast. I mean, to have Bette Midler be in my movie and Odessa Azion, who's now having this big moment being in Marty Supreme. She is in my Cake movie. Yara Shahidi, who's incredible. She's in my Cake movie. So I feel like maybe I shouldn't be greedy. I should just be happy with what I've been able to have so far. But yeah, I am just excited for anyone to read anything I've written. That's the dream and the pleasure in being a writer.
Dialogue has got to be hard. Or maybe not. I don't know.
I think the dialogue is difficult. You know, I often will think, who does this character sound like in my life? And just think about how that person would sound like that person, which might just be stealing from everyone I know, but that's always a good exercise for me if I'm stuck.
If they came to you tomorrow and said, we want you to do a horror film, a creepy baby doll that kills people. That's been done, I guess, but, it's formulaic, but hey, they keep remaking the Chuckies. I mean, could you stretch yourself, or would you want to do that? I mean, I have a feeling that you're much more about the story than the money.
I think I'm much more about the story than the money, and I would say I'm probably the last person. I don't know if I'm the right person to write a horror movie, but I think if I could make it about the characters, which is what has been the challenge in my superhero movie I'm writing, to just think, yes, these people have superpowers. I've never written anything about someone with superpowers, but what's going on with the characters? So I think if someone came to me and said, here's the money to write this horror movie, I guess I'd have to think about it if I thought I would at least enjoy watching it. What would I get out of this movie? So I'll give you a firm maybe.
Now, you have returned home because you're a mom, and I'm sure the support system of having, grandparents around and stuff is incredibly helpful. But has it been the right decision for you?
It has been wonderful to be back in Nashville. It's such a totally different city, which I know that you know, and it's just interesting to be back in a place that is both familiar and unfamiliar at the same time. I have a huge support network here, which has been so fortunate with, health situations, having a baby, having just life things come up. So I'm so glad to be back, but it's interesting to feel kind of like a visitor a little bit, but also that Nashville has always felt like my home, and it's really nice to be back.
Does motherhood give you new material?
Oh, yes. Especially thinking about what my son would think was funny. I mean, he's still pretty little, but it makes you think about stories in a different way, I think.
Do you think you could do what you did the kids series?
And I worked as an assistant on a kids series, which was really fun. I think I could. I have a friend who wrote for children's TV for a long time, and I asked her how she did it, that adjustment from writing for adults to writing for children. And she said, I just write what I would like to watch, and I would like to watch with my daughter.
So she trusts her adult sensibility to be appealing to the kids. Yes. I guess you have to have a lot of gross stuff, though.
I guess it depends on who you're writing for. If it was for my son, yes. If it was for someone else's kid, maybe not.
Is he gravitating toward being a little storyteller?
He does really like to play games right now where we're different characters. Right now he's obsessed with the Monkees, so we have to pretend to be like we're people from the band The Monkees, and we are performing. The
Monkees are back?
Well, I wish they were. I mean, at my house they are. It's a very elaborate game, Demetria, but it is a creative, fun way to use up our hour while we get ready for school. If you ever want to come over, you might have to play a guitar or like a fake maraca that we have. I mean, it's very involved. It's a very demanding game, but it's very fun.
Yeah. Who's Mike Nesmith and who wears the hat?
We usually take turns. We rotate. Who's Davy? Who's Peter? Who's Michael? It's a lot of fun. Who's
Is
Mickey?
he listening to the tunes or is he watching the old show or both?
He loves, thanks to my dad, who is a big Monkees fan, we listen to a lot of music. So his favorite song is Valerie. He also likes Shades of Grey, Daydream Believer, Last Train to Clarksville.
All good tunes, yeah.
All good tunes.
That's hysterical. I didn't know the Monkees were also having a renaissance.
I mean, unfortunately, I think we've lost some of them, but at my house, it is going strong. It is a very strong renaissance.
Do you always have to come up with an alternate ending, or does a movie? I mean, we all read about, such and such film could have ended with so and so not dying, or this person not winning in the end, or Rocky could have lost, more than he did in the movies. I forget how many times he did lose. Is that an exercise, or is it just folly that you've got to have several endings?
It's interesting to think about this today because I am trying to find the right ending for my superhero movie, and I have not figured it out yet. And I think the ending is so important.
Sure.
I feel like as writers, perhaps we spend so much time on the beginning and it changes so much. And then by the time you get to the end, that informs how the beginning should work. And then you change it for the 100th time. But endings have to mean so much. I don't know if I've ever come up for many different endings for a project. I will say for my Sitting in Bars with Cake movie, it was supposed to end one way, and they were scouting locations for a grocery store where the movie was going to end, and the director called me and said, "This is not how your movie is supposed to end." And I thought, that is how the movie was supposed to end for the last 4 years, and she talked through why she thought it should end differently, and I said, "You're absolutely right. It's not supposed to end in a grocery store," so we changed it. So that was really interesting.
Remind me how it did end.
Oh, that's fine. It's been a while. The movie ends where the character, who's loosely based on me, has her own cake store.
Right,
And
yeah.
she is handing out cake. She is pouring champagne for someone whose birthday it is, and is basically toasting people outside in the beautiful LA weather. Before, the movie ended in a grocery store where she saw a guy that she wanted to talk to and left the line to go talk to him. Like, oh, I can go talk to a guy now. I don't even need cake. I'm just going to go up and talk to him. And the director, who's so amazing, said, she wouldn't leave her place in line. She doesn't even need a guy. She has her own, she has her own store. So I thought it made so much more sense because it's a movie not really about getting the guy or going to talk to the guy. It's about becoming your own person.
And you didn't meet your husband through cake, did you?
I did not. I kind of met my husband through cake. I had done my year of taking cakes to bars, and I was single at the end of the year, and a friend who had been reading my blog said, "I hear you didn't, I read that you didn't meet anyone. Can I set you up on a blind date?" So that's how I met my husband. He said we should just tell people that we met through cake. It would be a much better story, but we did not.
You must tell the truth.
I have to be honest.
Do you still bake, or is there no time?
I do really love to bake. I don't make cakes that often. I do make cakes for people I really love for special occasions. It is always a little funny, I think, if I'm invited somewhere and people hear like, "Oh, she wrote this book about cake. She has a movie about cake." And I get there and the cake is like just fine. It's not, this beautiful masterpiece.
Yeah.
But I do really like to bake, and it's fun. My son is old enough that he likes to bake with me. It's very messy, but we do bake together.
And if you were going to come to my house and I said, "Audrey, please bring dessert," what would be coming?
Okay, I'm ready. Okay. I would first ask you if you had any food sensitivities, because you got to be considerate in this era.
True. Yeah.
I would make you a sage ricotta cake, which is the last cake in my cookbook. And it's one of the great recipes. Some of the cakes are not as good as the other cakes, I'll be honest. But the sage ricotta cake is my favorite.
Is it in a loaf pan or what?
It's just in a round pan. I guess you could make them as cupcakes, or you could make it as a bundt cake, but it's a sage cake that has whipped ricotta frosting, and it's quite good.
All right. When are we doing it?
Oh, yeah.
You're invited.
Okay, I'd love to come. I would love to. I mean, I want to see all of your other cool things, but I would love to bring you a cake.
Banner and Company is a production of the new Nashville Banner. This episode is produced by Steve Haruch and edited by me. The original music is by Verlin Thompson. You can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts or go to NashvilleBanner.com. You're in good company. Our last question, our final question, resides in the fishbowl.
Oh, wow. I should pick one now? Okay, I saw that it said next question. I was curious. Okay, Demetria, now I'm embarrassed that I didn't bring you a cake. That would have been really thoughtful.
Next time. And I hope there will be.
I would love for there to be a next time.
Where's it from?
From Sekou Franklin.
What would you say to 100 students in Rome about where the country should be in 20 years?
I just hope, I have this little son, which gives you kind of more investment in what's going on in 20 years. I would just hope that the world is a more inclusive, calm, welcoming, forward-thinking place, and that you should just do what you love. Try and surround yourself with people who believe in you. It's made all the difference in my life. And just be a kind person. I wish I had something more groundbreaking to say.
No, that's a great answer in my book.